So we've got an Archon mode, best of 3. In the top right-hand side, our red Zergs are Reynor and Serral. In the bottom left, our blue Terrans are MarineLorD and Clem. And MarineLord's just going to let the kid play, so he's just going to let Clem play. He can 2v1 you easily. The trash talk begins. You don't add much anyways, do you? It's actually interesting what... I do wonder what MarineLord's stance on this will be. 0-4, yes. That is Reynor's current score in this event. MarineLorD and Serral have been dominant in the modes that we've played so far. 2-0 in the 2v2 and 2-0 in the defend on one base mode that we have had as well. As we do have our gas finishing up in the main base, and the Overlord of Serral just moving out down to the bottom left-hand side. So Overlord starting to move, scouting begins, and the hatch gas and a pool all on the way up here as well, as we do have a drone continuing out. A couple drones coming in as, again, Serral Reynor versus Clem MarineLorD. Yeah, I do wonder, like, I think Clem kind of takes the reins, but he gives MarineLorD, like, extra things to control and to look at, right? And that's where the danger is, because we know how fast Clem can play. You know, so much of Archon mode is about cooperation anyway, right? It's not so much about... It's more so about who doesn't get in the way of the other guy and who, you know, splitting the units up well, talking to each other. And that's scary, you know, making a team game out of StarCraft 2, a typical 1v1. Oh, it is a little bit scary. It's a bit daunting. Can Clem and MarineLorD communicate well? Can Reynor Serral get over their long-term rivalry? I think they can. They're all pretty good friends, guys. I mean, I know we'd love it if, like, there was a rivalry and the talk was like, oh my god, Reynor and Serral, they hate each other. How could they ever play Archon? That's just not the case. It is... These guys are all pretty friendly with each other, and they get along well. They hang out with each other at events, for sure. As we do see, the Reaper is running away from these few Zerglings. And he's coming back in. Reaper taking a few shots, and a couple Queens going to be finishing up from Serral in a few moments' time. The hatchery of Serral goes down on the third base. I'm going to... For some reason, I'm saying Serral. Obviously, I mean Serral Reynor. So excuse me if I say the name of one player and obviously not the other. Obviously, this is still Archon mode. Just for ease of saying it, I might say the name of one in a fast moment or so. So the factory comes down. That can swap over to the reactor. And at the same time, the starport is already building here from Clem. So starport setting up. And the Rax just pulls away a little bit. I'm just going to be having our Marine patrolling on the edge, and the Overlord speed building now from Serral and Reynor as well. So they'll go Overlord speed. They'll make sure nothing too tricky is going to happen in the next few moments. Link speed is about to finish up. You guys want to see the APM? Reynor and Serral have a combined 1300 APM as I turn it on, averaging 700 APM against... Yeah, you put the two best Zergs in the world up against in an Archon team together, and their average APM is 700. And you got to remember that only one of them can do the unit building at a time. I mean, there's other stuff as well, which increases Zerg APM naturally compared to other races. But yeah, the APM is kind of wild right now. Even the Terran APM over 600 as well. So we have almost 1,500... Well, we do have 1,500 plus actions per minute being played on the map right now between the two teams. As the Hellions not really going to find much of a way in. The third CC is already going down in the wall-off, and it's just going to be this factory backing away, and the starport's going to build itself a reactor as well. So nothing too weird there as the Hellions still trying to poke. One of the big things about the Hellions, and I think this has been said a lot in previous kind of Archon modes and stuff, and why some of the Zergs play, you know, 1v2 Archon, is because it really makes you very good at defending stuff like Hellions, because if one player can fully focus on the Hellions, they never need to look back home, the other guy can macro. There are so many more opportunities. You can see these Hellions have just not stopped moving, and that's because one player is just taking hold of the Hellions, really just going around with them and just never ever stopping. Like, it's just consistently moving, looking for opportunities, And it just gives you that chance to just, you just, like I say, you never have to turn back around. Now the Liberator Siege is up. That's going to re-siege here. That should have been a pull away with the couple of queens here. Oh my god, it still is a pull away. It survives low HP. And the Hellions are back looking for another opportunity, but doesn't find much. But 2 drones killed. Not bad at all, as the lair is building in the main base, and the few Hellions of the Terran players will go around the left-hand side. Wow. He just doesn't kill the Reaper, but he gets a creep tumor. Well, that's a cute little play as well. I thought the Reaper was just going to die there, but nope. Calculated. Bane Nest coming through, followed by Evo Chambers in the lair. So obviously lair pretty quick, so we'll see a faster Bane speed, maybe a faster Spire as well. Mutalisk may be the way to go about this, just because of the multitask potential you have in Archon mode. It's like the Hellions. You give one guy the Mutalisks, and if one guy has the Mutalisk control, you're in pretty good spot. You can see what's trying to be done here. Trying to find a creep tumor that's on the bottom of this ramp by attacking the rocks, and this is what I mean. In this game already, we've seen so many cool moments from the Hellions that in a regular game, you just can't possibly make all of those cool little plays or attempts because one guy just doesn't have 100% focus on the Hellions. So the Hellions move around the left-hand side. We do have Medivacs loading up, and they're going to take some Marines. In that first drop of the game, we'll look to see if it can do any damage. I kind of wonder who you put in control of what here. Do you guys think you've got to put Clem in control of the micro, right? It's got to be. It just doesn't make sense to... I think MarineLorD... Put it this way, I think Macron is a much easier thing to do when you just don't have anything else to worry about, right? Like, if everyone just got told, right, all you have to do is sit at home and macro, macro, macro. You never have to look at anything on the map or worry about anything else. I think anyone can do it, right? But I think then MarineLorD can absolutely do that. Maybe get to unit control as well. I think you just put Clem in charge of the drops and the control and trying to find damage, as we do see these couple of Medivacs trying to find a way in there. Now they come down to this low ground. They're going to continue out. Queens from the right-hand side going to put some damage out and push these Marines away. Liberator goes down to the top as the Hellions join back up with the Marines. Twitch chat suggesting some combo names for these guys. Clem MarineLorD and I'm not so sure about Reynor or Serral. Serral Reynor doesn't really work well. Reynor and Clem MarineLorD. I mean, I guess the Marinum doesn't work either, really. Man, this attack is scary because it's before 1-1 is done for the Zerg. Here come the Mutas. They're going to try and help protect. The Hellbats do go down. The extra Banes are just about to finish. So there is a disengage from our Terran players. And Serral Reynor do survive this first potential onslaught. There's 2-2 upgrades starting up on the engineering base now. So getting in toward the 2-2 upgrades. And Marine Clem, pull back. The problem with Marine Clem is then people might think it's here at Marine and Clem or something, right? That's the only issue. No, we weren't calling him Marine Clem. We were calling him Clem MarineLorD. Yes. Sorry, I messed up I messed up our own name that we already talked about. Yes, Clem MarineLorD. Clem MarineLorD makes sense, right? Clem MarineLorD looking to defend as the Mutas show up. They don't have really turrets ready in the main. So as the Mutas get to work, they're going to find a few SCVs. 4 SCVs so far. We'll find a couple of Marines on the way out as well. Turns around with these Mutas to get a bit more damage done. Loses a Mutalisk. Another SCV goes down. Marines continue to set up, and that's actually a couple of Mutas lost. I'll not lie. I expected the Mutas to be controlled a little better here, and whoa! Mutas are really in trouble. I mean, yeah, they are just not getting out, and yeah, this was a little bit sloppy from the Mutalisk control. Who are we gonna blame that on, chat? Do we just flip a coin? Flip a coin, we're like, oh, Serral, come on. Oh, Reynor, what are you doing? Just back around this side, we'll grab a couple of SCVs as they make their way out. The Mutalisks get out here. The command center will land, so 4th base on the way up. And we've got Clem MarineLorD continuing to push up the left side as Marines will clean out even more creep spreads. So the creep spread kill so far has been great. 24 tumors cleaned out in the game. As do have the hive of Serral and Reynor now on the way up as well. So they're making progress. Obviously, next step here should be into Ultralisks. Adrenal glands and 3-3 might be another pretty big step to take, though. I mean, both those things are going to be really fantastic to have as part of your setup here. As the Mutas come around, they pick off a unit. Pulling Bane ready for a run by into this third base. Now the Muta's going to fly through. They get an SCV, and the action continues as the Marines will run forward. They're going to get surrounded by these Lings and Banes, and there's a lot of army just out on the map here from Clem MarineLorD, which is now having to run back home. 7 SCVs already going down, and the Mutas show up to pick off a missile turret as well. Widowmine gets picked off. A couple of Marines will be in some trouble too. The Thor shots are pretty good into the Mutalisks as the Marines continue to push this away. It's a nice timing to force the Terran to turn around, because it's as the Terran hits that 2-2 versus 1-1 advantage. So that would have been a really amazing time to have a push. And so to turn it around at that moment is obviously brilliant, as we do push up the right-hand side, while the army on the left will have to defend this Ling Bane Muta counterattack yet again. We've got a couple Mutalisks here, Widowmines here, sorry, and they're going to get a good first shot. I think they hit the Mutas, which splashed onto the Banelings. There wasn't a lot of Banelings, now there's none. Reinforcements are going to show up, and I think that's a defense. The Mutas are low HP. They'll get a few SCVs before they leave. Over on this side, looks like Banelings are already cleaning up, though, and the defense is good for the Zergs. And the Mutas get out of there, and now they have option as to where they want to attack next. And this Muta harass is just not going anywhere into the main base. They'll get the missile turret, and they are just going to stick around basically forever right now. Serral Reynor losing a couple of creeps, as we do have the Ling Bane continuing forward. Looking to start deflecting this. The Marines and Medivacs now in the bottom left looking to see where they can go. Other Ling's going to come back around. And Marines and a Hellbat still pushing up the right-hand side. Tanks starting to fire. A few Widowmines lining up some shots as well. Banes start crashing in. And Mutalisks are going to continue to chase these Medivacs, Marines, and Widowmines. Out over to the left. Zerglings are continuing to run on in here. Banelings wanting to run through as well. And we do have, again, a lot more Ling Bane out down the bottom side. A Planetary Fortress is quick to pick off a Zergling there already, and Widowmine doesn't do much. Well, this base is in trouble. The Banes, well, the Banes didn't quite get it, but the Lings will be able to shut down the SCVs. Enough SCVs went down initially that the repair wasn't going to be enough. At the same time, the Zergs are still trying to find Banelings to defend their own base with. Obviously, their 5th base, though, and maybe even 6th base at this point, is less valuable than the bases of the Terran players, which just don't, there's just not as many of them. Now, a few drones go down, the Mutas are going to chase the Medivacs, and that's why the Zergs, that's why the Terrans already dropping their Marines out, because those Medivacs were likely to die if nothing unloaded. Getting to the high ground was going to be good. Yeah, I think we've settled on Serral Reynor for the Archon name of Serral Reynor. So Serral, it sounds terrifying. First you have Serral, then you get Reynor, and now, welcome, Serral Reynor. You know, like, it just feels like it's got that, like, evil, like, tone to it. I don't know. It just felt like a good time to use the voice effects. Right. Push still continues from Clem MarineLorD up to the right-hand side. Spore goes down. The Ling Bane trying to run through. Hatchery finally falls, but Lings are counter-attacking, and once again, Marines are falling. A couple Widowmines there, not really finding the moment to burrow or get anything done just yet. Marine Widowmine regathering as the rest of this army from the Terrans going to be back out to the center. Marines are going to stem up through the middle and could maybe scan for a whole bunch of creeps. So a bit of creep already going down. A couple of Banes showing up, and they're getting cleaned out pretty quickly. We're going to see the Marines starting to split backward here. So Marines splitting back. More of these Banes going down on the bottom side. Mutas run in. And a lot of SCVs are dropping. I mean, this is a problem. You just don't have a stable 4th base as the Terrans, whereas the Zergs have their bases in high numbers in comparison, and that really is just a forever problem now. There is just no economy for the Terran compared to the Zerg players. However, I mean, that said, the Zergs have been kept low on units. It's not like they're making a massive bang. Resources loss is really good for the Terrans. They've done that fantastically, but they need to then start making the game-ending plays around about now if they're not going to get a 5th base up, and it gets cancelled once again here. One starts on the left-hand side instead, but the Mutas are taking damage. Ultra's now finally out. Remember how long ago we talked about Hive Tech? Now finally getting to Ultralisks. And that might just be a momentum stopper in this, you know, for the army of the Terran as Mutas run through the Widowmines. They're going to get on top of these Medivacs, though, and this time there's nowhere to start dropping those Marines, and it might just be a Serral Reynor victory for game 1. Widowmine connection is big, though, and that might be enough to turn this army around for the moment. The Zergs back away from this. Man, there's just creep everywhere. I think that's one of the things that's really crazy about Archon Zerg, because Archon Zergs can absolutely just put creep all over the map. Like, it's really crazy just how much they can get done as Ling Bane Ultra continues through here. A couple of these depots going down. Widow Mines shooting, and a couple of these Banes being picked away at as well. More of these Banes continuing to roll forward here, blowing up on a Marauder or so. Lings and Ultra's going to force a lift on this orbital command. The creep, just like I say, everywhere, right? And constantly being replaced. It feels like the Terrans have done great clearing it up where they've attacked, but there's not been creep clearing elsewhere. Clem and MLord tap out of the game as they just don't have economy left over. They're never going to rebuild, and obviously their one army is never going to win this game out. Serral and Reynor. Reynor take game number 1 of this best of 3. Bottom right-hand side, our red Zerg combo. Serral, Reynor, Serenor. Sounds like a dinosaur. Serenor. I'll never do that again. Top left-hand side, Team Liquid's Clem MarineLorD, Clem Lord. So game number 2 coming up. Map choice was Clem Lords as the losing combo from game 1. As we get into game number 2. And the fun thing is about Archon mode like this is I actually think you get to just see really high level games. Like when the guys get coordinated and figure it out and all of that stuff, the gameplay actually just is like really, really high level. It's pretty sick, honestly. It's really, really sick, actually. Alright, game number 2, as we get this going. It's a gas pool opening already from Serenor. So, like I said, I definitely think there's some level of aggression coming your way when you're playing on Submarine as the Terrans. I mean, it's something you risk by choosing to say, right, we're going to play Submarine. It's a good map for us if we get mid-game. It's not a good map for you when you get hit by roaches early. So we'll see what happens here. As we do have the SCV making its way out down the bottom right-hand side to begin with. And it's circling speed starting from Serenor, but still mining gas and taking a second. That's an extractor trick, right? So that's an extractor trick. Link speed on the way, but yeah, still mining gas is the big part of this. As 2 links show up, the SCV does not get in for the scout. Reaper is made, and we'll see if that comes across the map or not. There's the road roar, and like I say, it's almost scripted, right? You know, you go Submarine, then gas pool, and everyone's like, okay, we get it, we know where this is going. You know, I feel like a lot of the time Terran players, when they see something like a pool first on Submarine, they already automatically in their head are like, right, let's just play freaking safe. Bunker's already on the way up. What's interesting though is it's Ling speed as well, so it's not purely a roach rush. It's Ling Roach. And that's actually really important because if this was just roaches, I actually think that the bunker is actually really good on the low ground. But with Ling Roach, the surround potential is absolutely there for Serenor to just get in, wrap around, and kill very quickly. So that bit I'm a little bit worried about. Lings are gonna get their speed. That SCV picks up that information. The Lings arriving up to the top, trying to see what they can do. Here come the roaches. Obviously, Lings will come behind this. They'll reinforce much faster. You can put your gas into the Ravager building. I feel like they just didn't realize that there's actually roaches coming until, like, just now. I feel like this is the first time they really see this. They've got, yeah, they're going to cancel the tech lab. The barracks is going to go to the reactor to build more Marines. This is genuinely just a surprise right now for Clem MarineLorD. They had no idea there's going to be roaches. I think they saw Ling speed and just thought, oh yeah, we're fine here. Not the case at all. The SCVs on the low ground are going down quickly. Serenor deciding to stay on the bunker. Extra barrels come down, and now those Marines will go down. Now you get up the ram. I actually think there was a Ling there that might have been able to block properly. The depot goes down anyway. A Widow Mine pops out. Yeah, well, you just wait for the Ravagers to clean that up as well. One Zergle will set it off. That works too. Clem MarineLorD are gone. The Roach Ravager rush is too good with the Lings behind it. And it is Serral Reynor to take the 2-0. Not as awesome a second game as the first, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, man, I guess, I mean, Reynor finally gets some wins on the board. Clem is still hurting. He's got no points at all. And Serral is just winning everything.